your ball in the trees and then you live out the park. But if you've got a little time, then come and spend it with us, 'cause now you're listening to the Rough Cut.
Hello, and welcome down to the Rough Cut Golf Podcast on one of the best weeks of the year. It is, of course, time for the Ryder Cup, where the mighty heroes of Europe take on those dastardly villains from the USA on the foothills just outside of Rome. As you may be able to tell, I'm very much pro-Europe. With me for this special preview podcast, we have Mick, we have Jacob, and we have Kieran. We are going to be filling you in with everything you need to know about Rome, about the Ryder Cup, about the golf course, our predictions, and then, of course, we will tell you the overall outcome, the Mystic Megs that we are. We've also got a Guess the Player quiz, which is a Ryder Cup special, which I'm presuming means it's going to be a Ryder Cup player. But
well, you don't know that.
Knowing Mick, it might be a Ryder Cup special because they've not played in the Ryder Cup. That's the way.
Actually, that's the way to get them in.
When I was planning it earlier, I did test a potential first clue, which was this player is the only captain to have never played in the Ryder Cup.
Wow. Is there someone like that?
Yes. American captain from 1933 or something. Yeah. J.H. Taylor or someone like that.
Right, so someone from the old school.
Yeah, someone that we haven't heard of.
Yeah. Fair enough.
It's slightly easier than that.
Okay, great. Horton Smith.
Oh my God.
Yes, nailed it.
Just slightly.
Damn it.
Slightly.
What do I get for like somewhere less than a hole in one? Like I've already completed the hole before we even got to it.
Well, actually, you played through the group in front of you without asking.
I'm just getting so bored of being dragged down by these guys.
So
I'm like, okay, I'm out here.
If you had done that, or if you jumped the gun and not written it down on paper, just said it out loud, probably would have docked you a lot of shots.
Okay, I'll remember that for the rules. If you've not listened to Guess the Player quiz, it is the most electrifying quiz in golf entertainment today. So you should definitely...
It's the rock of golf quizzes.
You should definitely stay tuned for that. First of all, it is currently the week we're recording this. It is Solheim Cup week. Myself and Jacob are about to kind of leave, to be honest. We're flying in like, I don't know, some hours. I can't figure it out. But tomorrow. It's at Manchester Airport as well, so we're going to have to get there 14 hours before we fly, just to make sure that we can get on the plane. So we'll be doing a little bit of a review from that. Very excited to get over there, see what it's all about. We're kind of combining it weirdly with like quite a lot of golf in the mornings and then getting to the event in the afternoon. So we're probably not going to get to see as much as the Ryder Cup as I will be. I'm going over there with David as well. So, yeah, jet setting around to see the very best players in the world compete against each other. It's very exciting.
You're going to like two incredible team events back to back.
Yeah, I mean the biggest team events in golf. Like the President's Cup is obviously up there as well, but it's not the same size as the Ryder Cup, obviously. And then there's not really an equivalent in ladies golf.
What format do they play in the Olympics?
Golf.
It's just a normal.
Yeah, it's like a four-day event, isn't it?
Yeah, probably
it's just
like stroke play.
Yeah, the Olympics kind of missed a trick because like the Olympics, every time you watch it, I mean, they just make stuff up. Unless it's like a sport that was in ancient Athens, like javelin, you can only change that so much.
Yeah.
Unless they have like a moving target.
Yeah, throw this stick as far as possible.
Yeah. Pointy bit, go forward, throw big.
It's like Steve Backlund.
Yeah, basically.
Stick in ground.
Like long jump. Like there's only so many ways you can do that.
They're going to include quite a lot of new sports with the Olympics as well.
Yeah.
I think apparently they're talking about F1.
It's just
It's just who spends the most money.
Yeah.
Cricket was involved.
So stupid. Like, what was it last time? Going off subject a little bit here. The basketball one. They had that pickup basketball.
Oh yeah, it was just a 3v3.
It was like a 3-on-3 to one net.
And how squash is still not there is an absolute disgrace.
Yeah, I agree.
That is weird. There's something on there. Like someone's had a fall in it.
Wasn't there like a sixes rugby, like rugby with
sevens?
Sevens.
Sevens rugby.
So
why did I think it was less than that?
What I think is they should like bring it, like take it back to like proper Athenian Olympics.
You mean they should have to compete like in togas?
Yeah.
And if they don't win, they should have their heads chopped off.
I don't think they want
fed to the lions.
But like proper Olympic sports.
Yeah. So the marathon is literally a run between two cities.
Basically, yeah.
That'd be so
It was
cool.
very literal, wasn't it? It was just like run, throw, walk, ride,
fight.
Yeah.
Kill this animal.
When Socrates was sat around watching this Olympics, I don't think like his initial reaction would be, I think they could do with BMX.
Yeah.
Do you know what this needs? Do you know what this needs? More dressage.
Yeah. Yeah, dressage. Oh my God, don't get me started on dressage. Anyway, I have no idea how we got onto
This
that.
is the Ryder Cup
but
podcast.
It is it's the Ryder Cup podcast. We're obviously very excited as we're going off on these tangents. I think it should be worthwhile just pointing out the basics of what this Ryder Cup is. So it's in Europe. It's a biennial event. Is that how you saying it? Biennial?
Biennial?
Yeah,
Biennial?
you're right.
Biennial? It's every 2 years. This time it is in Europe, and the course which has been selected is Marco Simone, which is just outside of Rome. When I say just outside of Rome, it's a half an hour drive from the centre. Now, in Roman traffic, that could be anywhere between 15 minutes if you get a local taxi driver and 4.5 hours. Like there's no rhyme or reason. So we're going to get on to why this might be the most chaotic Ryder Cup shortly, but that is where it is being contested, and it should be, the way that the teams are kind of shaping up here, like an absolutely fantastic actual event. They should be pretty close, I think.
It's tricky because I've only come into golf since the last Ryder Cup, so this is my first kind of view.
Proper, really, as a fan.
Obviously, I've read the things and listened to the podcast and watched the YouTube videos, but it's not really the same. I'm very much looking forward to seeing it all happen in real time.
And the best thing about being in Europe as well, it's like a proper all day. You get up at Friday morning at 6:30.
Yep.
You prep for the day, what you need. Sit your ass down. And you don't move.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you're saying we don't have to work on the days? Is that correct?
This is why you've got laptops.
It's very smart. Good forward thinking.
That's right. So yeah, it's just it's just such a different format, and it has what so many sports lack a little bit, is that pure passion for the team that you're playing, because it's not paid. It is literally you're playing for the flag.
Yeah.
The European
Yeah.
flag.
Like going to watch England play football. They don't get paid to play for England.
Yeah, it's
So you're kind of it means a little bit more if you try harder, because it means you're trying hard, even though you're not being financially rewarded necessarily.
and there's like an extra bit of purity about it that maybe isn't there on a kind of week to week kind of cash grab event. Mm-hmm. I know there's differences, but like the Tour Championship, for example, the FedEx Cup playoffs, like it's meant to be the culmination of the PGA season. It should be the most exciting, but it kind of feels a bit jaded, because like they're just playing for like a massive cash pot. That's what they're there for.
It's like, which one of you millionaires wants more millions?
Yeah, exactly. I can guarantee that after the Ryder Cup is over, like if you get your hands on that trophy and you're a player, you will be taking that trophy to bed and staring at it on the pillow and just thinking, this is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Are they allowed to do the like drink it out of the trophy thing with the Ryder Cup trophy?
Yeah. But yeah, the FedEx Cup will not come into bed with you.
Too big.
It's too
Take up
pointy.
size of it.
Yeah.
Oh, is it pointy?
It's very
Way too-
sharp
Oh, I
edges.
know, yeah.
Yeah. Once he gets his elbows out. So there's that kind of whole atmosphere to it. And the fans at the Ryder Cup are always fantastic, both US and European. So the atmosphere should be amazing. I can't wait to be over there.
As Jacob and Peter, as our two resident fans of the US,
Right.
right, the country in
Yeah,
general,
sure, yeah.
do you feel the need to be a little bit more partisan or bipartisan, or are you literally just going to be Team Europe all the way?
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard me talking about the Ryder Cup
Yeah,
in the
it's-
last
yeah, it's
week?
true,
I don't
yeah,
think I've really given
It's-
the US a chance, but
It's always Europe. I mean, the thing is, like, the Ryder Cup, it allows you to, and that's the thing in golf. Like golf, you have your favorite players, and you like to see them win.
Yeah.
But if someone comes through the pack and wins an event, you're like, oh, that's good. Good for him. Mm-hmm. Like, this is a team event, so you choose a side.
Yeah.
And that's what's really good about it. That's why the passions always come out so much, because you're playing for a team rather than for yourself.
And it's win or lose. It's not like someone else can come in and oh, okay, cool. I didn't expect that. You're either going to go home happy or really annoyed.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I suppose you can retain the cup.
Okay, so talk us through what the current Ryder Cup situation is. Who won it last time, and where was it, and all that nonsense.
So if you look in the entire history of the Ryder Cup, you've basically got the US, which is still kind of in the lead as far as like how many Ryder Cups have been won.
Okay.
But they went through a period before Europe became the team, because it used to be the US versus Great Britain and Ireland. And then it got to the stage where like US were just absolutely trouncing GB and I. Like,
And they were like, how can we get Sevi in the team?
well, it was Sevi that basically led the charge for the Europeans to join, which is why he's such a kind of legend within the Ryder Cup. That obviously changed the outlook of the whole event, made it more competitive, but it also allowed like some of the very best players of that era, your Sevis, your Altharbles, your Langers, these kind of players to actually compete in the event. And it just made it a completely different animal to the point where now it is the biggest event in golf. You've basically got a little bit of disparity now with Ryder Cups in both the US and Europe.
Yes.
So over the last kind of 30 years or so, Europe are the more successful team.
Okay.
But that is because the US haven't won in Europe for 30 years.
Right. Okay. So it's kind of like we're the, for the football analogy, it's like at home we just don't lose.
Yeah.
But we also might steal a couple of games away.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've been really good when the Premier League was created, but when it was like Division 1, then I was like, that doesn't really count. Football didn't start until then, so it doesn't really matter.
We were semi-professional before Sevi joined.
The Premiership. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And we've got like it's one of the kind of talking points with the Ryder Cup about if it's a good or a bad thing that both teams are setting up the course in a manner that seems to be suiting them the best, which they're perfectly entitled to, but it's starting to become a little bit like the Europeans when it's a home Ryder Cup. They will set the course up tight, they'll grow the rough up. Marco Simone, if you've not seen our video from there, they have grown the rough up. Let me tell you, there are things in that rough that I never thought would be in long grass. It is like a nature reserve.
Couple of your balls as well are still in that flaming rough.
I think we managed to find most of our balls. It was more my soul that was left there.
Yeah. We were lucky to find all the balls. I mean, if we didn't have the camera, then we would have struggled. But we found all of them. So
there's a tree growing to the side of the 15th fairway in a twisted image of me.
Lord.
The soul tree.
Now,
Go hang a ribbon on it if you go.
do you think that it will be easier for them because they have the kind of spotters and they'll have fans? If you go and play that just as a regular 4-ball of friends, you're losing almost all of those because you can't go back and look at the footage and zoom in and be like, oh, it came down here and follow the line.
That's the only reason we found the ball.
Yeah, but these guys are going to have 45,000 people going. Actually, it's right there.
So there's a couple of things to say. Yes, they will have a hell of a lot more chance of spotting the balls because there's going to be spectators, there's going to be marshals, all the rest of it. It won't make too much of a difference because even if the crowd are trampling down that rough, like the rough in some places there, we are talking it is chest high. Even if it's trampled down, if a ball goes in there, the chances of you getting it back out are super low. And even if you can get it out, you're just moving it like back into the fairway. So it's almost like 0.5 of a shot gone every time you go in that rough. The advantage that these players obviously have is it's match play.
Right.
So if they whack one into the rough, it doesn't quite work out. They'll just lose a hole. They won't get a triple bogey, which would absolutely destroy their card in a stroke play event. And it's one of the best things about the Ryder Cup. It's match play. You don't have to generally watch players grind out a score.
Yeah, you can be a little more aggressive, a little bit more carefree because, I mean, obviously you still want to win all the holes, but you are right. If a hole goes awry and you're like, well, look, I just I lost it or the ball went in the water or whatever, there's always a chance to get it back.
And especially within the 4-balls as well. Like if you've got one who's just going to like get it down the fairway, and then you've got someone like a Rory that's just going to bomb it over these corners and stuff like that. Like, all those different things where you can have one that attacks, one that kind of just plods his way about, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Kieran, on our notes here, it says you're doing a 6-question quiz.
Yes, I got a little 6-question sort of get your juices flowing. So I've got.
Oh my god!
They're really easy questions. But
what he wanted his job back.
Have you been feeling left out not doing the quizzes?
I have, to be fair, but I've missed taking the microphone off the table. So
I was going to say that. It took like 2
nice.
seconds before. I'm doing a quiz. I'm picking up the mic.
There's only like 6 questions. They're just quite easy.
And can we work them out? We'll work them out as a team.
Yeah, as a team. Yeah, and obviously play along at home and let us know how many we've got out of 6.
Any Americans?
And if we don't get one, doesn't matter. We'll get the next one.
Exactly. Yeah. First question here: where was the first ever Ryder Cup played? This was back in the day when it was Team USA versus Team GB&I.
Isn't this one of these like highly disputed things where like a lot of people claim, but there isn't like a
No, there's a lot of clubs that claim to have been the birthplace because
Birthplace, yeah.
Samuel Ryder like once relieved himself in their toilet. So there's a plaque above the toilet being like the Ryder Cup was
what's the
thought
Dorset
of in
one?
this place.
Came down.
Came down.
Came down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Samuel Ryder once drove past the entrance. And that is
Wentworth's one as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
There's something about Wentworth
Wentworth.
being it held like the first kind of USA versus GB, and they reckon something like that.
And where did we played somewhere this year that claimed that? Because that's how we got into the conversation of Came Down.
Yeah.
Where was it played? That's claimed to be the birthplace of the Ryder Cup.
Don't know.
Somewhere in the UK, was it not?
Yeah.
This is terrible. We shouldn't know this.
We were going south, weren't we? Or was it?
No.
Was it on Fairway Down? It can't have been on
No,
Fairway
it
Down.
wasn't.
It was
Fairway
way,
Down.
way before.
Wow. Okay, we'll have to.
Yeah, we'll find it.
Can't
We'll have to come up with
Anyway,
that.
what's
Yeah,
our
yeah.
answer?
That's terrible.
Right.
Yeah, the first one. Okay.
And a bonus point for the year and a bonus point for who the captains were, but yeah, I
I've
don't
got-
reckon you'll get them.
God.
I don't know if this is true or not, but I've got the name stuck in my head if this might be the first American one, but I think it's like Worcester Country Club or something.
Yeah, that's correct.
Oh,
That's correct.
Very
There you
nice.
go.
Killed
Yeah.
it. Oh, was it in America? Was it?
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
right, perfect.
Do you know what state that is?
no.
A state or
Worcestershire.
I'm going to go New York State.
town? Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Okay. Just above. New
So
York State.
the I don't know if this is like the done thing to recommend a different podcast on your podcast, but
We did it last week.
we did it last week. Oh yeah, we did.
We did.
Maybe it might even been me as well.
It was you.
we don't care.
If you want the history of the Ryder Cup, there's a podcast called the Ryder Cup Run, which basically is the history of the tournament at the beginning, and then like 3 iconic Ryder Cup tournaments broken down into like what decisions the captains made, which players turned up at which time. You know, it's literally so detailed.
It's really good.
It's really good.
Yeah,
We've
it's
listened
really
to it
good.
in the car a few times. So if you want the history of the Ryder Cup before this one to kind of hype yourself up, the Ryder Cup run is extremely good. And I remember them talking about that first one. And wasn't there... They couldn't afford to get all of the European players there, so they had to offer someone a sponsorship deal.
Yeah.
And then all of the players got given like a Hoover or whiskey or something to go and play at the tournament because they couldn't pay them.
Oh, really?
So they're like, we'll pay you in like
Hoovers.
household goods or something like that.
Household appliances.
It was something like that, yeah, because the guy, it could have been like mattresses or something stupid like that, but like they couldn't afford to fly everyone there. So they're like, we'll just give you free stuff instead. And they were like, okay.
James Dyson's been grinding from early, just giving out Hoovers.
Mattresses.
Does anyone know what year it was? Year it started? First one?
19...
It's before
12.
It's before 33. It's 1911.
1927.
Oh.
And the captains
So close.
were Walter Hagen and Ted Ray. Can you name the 5 previous venues?
In order,
right.
in
In
order
order,
backwards.
Not including the one this year.
Right. So
Okay.
Whistling Straits.
Yeah.
Golf
then
National.
Le
Yeah.
Golf National.
Lovely.
Yep. Then we're back to America again.
That was...
Wait, hold on. What year are we?
2016.
2016. So before that's Medina.
That was 2014. Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Uh,
So there's one in the... oh, no.
no,
hold on,
that
can't
was,
have
it
been.
was the one before that. As well.
2012.
2012.
So then we need a Europe.
I'm lost already.
We
What are
need
we on? Le Golf National.
Yeah,
We
we
got
got
National, then the last one in
I
America
think
before Whistling Straits.
I think it might have been like Oak Hill.
Yeah, I was thinking like
something
Oakmont
that.
or Oak
Yeah.
something, but I don't know if that's right.
no. Oak Hill was like 90.
Not Oak Hill, no.
Oak Hill was like 91.
I'd never really heard of it, and I don't really remember the 2016 Ryder Cup for some reason.
It wasn't Valhalla, was it?
No.
No,
Where was it?
No.
'cause that was a bit before.
He's still got one European as well. In 2014.
Thomas Peters' rookie year, that was 2016.
2014 was. What's his name was captain? Paul McGinley was captain.
Yeah.
Glen Eagles.
Glen Eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just 2016.
this is bad.
Just after that.
2016.
Honestly, I don't remember. Like,
No, I don't remember
this.
it.
I've got a sneaky feeling 2016. Did we get battered in 2016?
Yeah, I think we did.
I
yeah.
think it's one that we've tried to wipe from our collective memory.
Yeah, we're like,
Um,
don't think about that one.
God, where was it? I can picture the actual,
You know,
like
peop-
some of the shots.
You know, people
Yeah.
are shouting at their podcast.
Yeah.
Right now.
Because this was one of the first ones where it was like it was completely wide open and God, where is it? Tell us.
Hazeltine.
Oh, Hazeltine.
Hazeltine.
I knew it had a tree in it. You know, I knew it was something tree. Hazeltine, right? Okay.
Nice.
Next one. Who has made the most Ryder Cup appearances?
Phil Mickelson, 12.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
There you go.
That's brilliant. Who scored the most points together as like a team?
Sevi and Olathabal.
Oh, right, as a partnership.
Wow. Yeah.
I told you I like the Ryder Cup.
No. That's very good.
Where was the 1969 Ryder Cup held, and why was this year so special?
Yeah, Mick.
Yeah.
69.
Come on, Mick.
It was Sevi's first year, and it was. Oh my god! No, tell me.
Was anyone else want to have a guess?
I was going to say, me and Jacob take part. Are we allowed to play?
Of course you are. If you get the answer right.
I don't know. So
Yeah.
Any ideas?
69.
No, it can't have been Sevi's first year.
Yeah, I was going to say it's too
Too
early.
Something's. You did say that though.
There's
Something
something
happened.
significant
Something
about
special.
69.
Yeah.
Is it the
it's
first time we won in the US?
Nope.
69.
60.
Is this
First time we won?
Oh no! I
He's
think.
gonna. Yeah, I reckon.
Oh, hang on. It was this when what's his face beat Nicholas.
Who?
Oh God, he beat him twice in one day, and he was. What's his name? He passed away not too long ago. He used to smoke like a pipe.
I might be going on the wrong tracks a little bit, but you were kind of right with Jack Nicklaus.
All right.
Is it the
Oh,
concession?
the concession.
Yeah.
The
yeah.
concession.
Do you know where that was? Anyone know where that was? It was in the UK.
Yes.
Oh,
was it-
we went there.
Birkdale.
Birkdale.
Birkdale, yeah.
Or was it Royal
yeah,
Birkdale?
Royal Birkdale, 1969. And then the final one.
Oh, God, I can't believe I didn't get it.
What was the score going into the final day of the 2012 Ryder Cup, which was the Miracle at Medina?
Yeah.
What was the score going into
Were we
Sunday?
like
We had
9 down or something like that?
I think it was slightly less than
I
that.
think it was a bit less than that.
I think it was probably we were about 6 down.
I think it was something like 11-5.
I
It was
was
something
gonna,
like that.
I was gonna say, yeah, 9.5 to. No, yeah, maybe slightly more than that. 10.5 to 5.5.
It was 10-6. 10-6. So they
One
won.
out.
So close.
Europe won 8.5, 3.5 on that final day.
Yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, what?
They were good.
Hero of that tournament. Who was
What?
the hero of that tournament?
Well, it was who sunk the winning putt?
Well, who went absolutely ballistic at that tournament?
Yeah, it was just Ian Poulter. Like,
Yeah, Ian Poulter.
lost
Yeah,
his
I was
mind.
gonna say.
Holtz gang.
Yeah. What a? Would you say that's the greatest Ryder Cup there's been?
From a European perspective.
Right,
certainly.
yeah.
In early memory as well for
Yeah.
us in particular.
Very, very big story as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like us coming back from that far. Is this where Rory also almost misses it because he's in his hotel and
Yes.
his
Yeah.
manager thought that his manager had spoken to concierge and said, make sure you wake him up. And Rory had set an alarm and his alarm didn't go off and they didn't ring him. And he woke up with 30 minutes to make it to his tea time.
is, yeah.
And police
Escorted
escorted him to the course.
Do you remember who he played?
Did he play Phil?
No.
Was it Keegan?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
played Keegan Bradley. If
And
you are
beat him.
hearing a bit of rain, by the way, we apologise. We
Sorry.
left the window open.
He hit 2 putts.
Who?
McElroy.
Yeah, to warm up and then
He hit 2
Yeah.
putts to
and
warm
then
up.
he
He's
hit
like,
his,
sod it,
he hit
let's
his
go.
driver right into the rough. I remember, and but he still won.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Well, he chipped in on the first.
There you go.
animal, absolute animal. I'm looking for some stories like that this year.
Yeah, definitely.
Like it'll be all well and good if we batter them, but I want a bit of some of that
But
story.
by the sounds of things, the way to get to the golf course, we might be having some people
Oh
running
yeah.
late.
So talk us through.
Is that the questions, by the way?
That is the question.
Oh, well
yeah,
done,
yeah,
Kieran.
yeah,
Well done.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
juices
yeah,
are flowing.
Yeah,
Love that,
I'm
love that.
sincerely flowing now. You two, what was that move? I loved it.
Well, no, like
Yeah.
like,
Juices
no,
are
just
bubbling.
thinking of Medina. Like literally, I'm just thinking of Medina right now.
I got goosebumps. You two have been to Marco Simone. Talk us through hotel to, because the hotel wasn't nearby. Talk us hotel to course, roads, toilets, stands, all the extra stuff that isn't the golf course.
I am.
Should we be worried?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we should. Just from the context of, so if you've not been to Marco Simone, it's, I wouldn't say it's in the middle of nowhere, but there's not loads around it. There's like a little villagey town kind of nearby, but it's built on like very hilly roads. It's not somewhere where you'd automatically think, this is going to be good to host a golf tournament. The actual course is normally accessed via just like a single road, which is a relatively narrow road as well. Like, you're never going to get a lot of vehicles through that and like not have a massive couple hour snarl up. So what they've done is they built a completely new access road, but the new access road is still accessed from the old roads.
Yeah,
And
the
the motorways which are kind of nearby to get to it, I wouldn't say they were the most free-flowing type of traffic management system that I'd ever seen when we were there initially. So I would say that with a lot of people trying to get to that event, it could be a little bit messy.
Yeah. I just wonder if it's done as well. Do you know what I mean? Like when we went in, when was it, about June or was it June maybe? Like, they've got to build quite a large scale road to get everyone in and stuff like that, and it hadn't started.
There's a lot of things going on that made me slightly concerned about how it would all actually play out. The accommodation thing is massive as well, because there's nothing nearby. There's the hotel we stayed at, I think when we were there, was about 20 minutes away. But that was the only hotel in anywhere in the near vicinity.
And you reckon that's going to be booked up with corporates and...
No.
It's got to be players, isn't it?
No.
No one's having it.
So, here's the thing.
They knocked it down.
Airbnb?
Here's the thing. Now, what the Euro...
You've booked it for us.
Yeah, you've got the whole place. So what Europe have kind of seemed to do now is, when they're picking a host venue, is they're picking it at a course which would also have the grandeur of like a big city. So we're talking about, obviously, Paris.
Makes sense.
The Paris Ryder Cup, Rome Ryder Cup. You know, these are places where when you're planning out a trip, you're thinking, well, if I'm going to go to the Rome Ryder Cup, there's only one place I'm actually going to stay. I'm not going to stay on the outskirts. I'm going to stay in Rome.
Yeah.
Why would you not want to stay in the eternal city? Like, why would you not want to be in this amazing place? And Rome is one of my favorite places. Yeah. And we are staying bang in the middle. I know the players are staying pretty much kind of bang in the middle. And I imagine most of the people who are going to watch this will be staying in and around the centre. Now, that means that at about 6 o'clock in the morning, you're going to have about 50,000 people
descending,
trying to leave a city which was designed when the horse was the main mode of transport and has not adapted well to the motorized vehicle.
Road markings don't exist in Rome.
No.
Have you driven in the city of Rome?
I have. Rome is the most chaotic. Rome is probably the most scared I've ever been on the roads. Just because the taxi drivers don't... Well, for a start, the taxi drivers literally don't care.
Yeah.
Like, they don't care.
Yeah.
Like, they just, there's something about a Roman taxi driver that just says, if today's the day I go, that's fine.
Yeah. I'm this close to the Vatican. How bad can it be?
You know what? I've got my crucifix on. If I go, I'm on them at the pearly gates. I'm saying,
Take me to the Pantheon.
yeah, didn't see it coming. You know?
If you walk around the city of Rome and just observe the cars that are on the road, they're all battered.
Yeah, they are all battered.
If you've got a fancy car, you do not take it to the centre.
So you can also tell, like, if you've ever been to Rome, so every other country pretty much I know, you've got a zebra crossing. Okay, so zebra crossing, they're pretty much ubiquitous throughout the world. Pretty much everyone knows what a zebra crossing is.
I prefer a pelican, but I'll go with it.
You know what? It's got lines on the floor. You wait, the car stops, you walk across. It's a very civilized system. In Rome, those markings might as well not be there because the drivers just don't care. So they'll just keep going across. So to use these crossings, you just have to walk out into traffic. And then again, just hope, like look towards St. Peter's and go, God, let them stop. Please, I like my legs. Please let them stop. And you just got to hopefully just cross without injuring yourself. And you've got a situation where you've got these drivers these crazy drivers who are going to be wanting to pick up all the fares. By the way, I'm not grouping all Roman taxi drivers into one group. I'm sure there are many safe and no, what am I talking about? They're all crazy. So you've got all these drivers, you got all these pedestrians, all trying to get out of the city at the same time. It's just going to be chaos.
Yeah.
And then when you get to the course, obviously we've not been there since June. We don't know what the infrastructure is properly like around it, but I can't imagine it being much better than it used to be. So I'm properly worried. Like, we were talking to a few people as well who were organising a bit of transport, and they don't know what's going to happen either.
Do you think it's like they need to put on a shuttle bus type of situation? Like, if you meet here and you've got your Ryder Cup ticket or your pass or whatever, we'll take you from the train station, we'll take you directly to the drop-off car park.
That seems like the best way to do it, I think.
Which save everyone having to hassle and obviously like spend hundreds and hundreds of euros getting to and from it, I imagine, because it's probably...
They'll have a park and ride on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's, park.
What's Italian with a park and ride?
Try not to be racist.
It's only... it's the only way that they can make it work, like a mass park and ride kind of mass bus situation. Like, it's the only way I can think of them doing it. But I'm hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully I'll be surprised. But I know that a lot of people going there share the same concerns.
Yeah.
And of course, Marco Simone translates directly to bad traffic. So
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
Don't fact check that, but that's 100% true.
Did not know that. I feel like I'm learning Italian already.
You are.
But once you're in, like, I've seen some videos and some photos of like the new infrastructure that has been built since we were there, like in terms of like the hospitality on the right and even the stand growing even more than what it was. Like, these sort of things that make it, that looks really cool, I must say.
I think once you get there,
Once you're in.
you're gonna have a great time.
You're not going to want to leave.
No, it's going to be good. It's an interesting course to walk as well, because it's very hilly.
Yeah.
So like most of the people when they play there, it is kind of like a buggy course. So spectators, there's a few holes that you've got to walk up like quite steep slopes to get to, but once you kind of settle yourself down, there's like a lot of natural amphitheaters.
Yeah, it's good like vantage points.
Yeah,
I suppose.
definitely.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, and there's a lot of stands which have been built. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of concessions. You're not going to be able to go there without trying to get all your money. So there will be plenty of places to buy merchandise and drinks.
I thought you were saying that lots of people are going to concede holes.
There's going to be lots of concessions.
Because people aren't going to want to walk up the hills. They'll be like, nah, sack
each
that.
other on the
I'm
tee.
not doing 7, you can have it.
To be honest, that's a very American term, that isn't concessions. I don't know where that came from. Plenty of places to spend your money.
Buy things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you think you're gonna like pitch up when you're there? Like, are you gonna try and get on the first hole? Are you gonna try and be, what's your plan of attack?
It's a bit weird because we're doing filming when we're there. We're doing quite a bit of stuff with BMW and a few other things as well, maybe. So I don't know the access we're going to get, because if we have kind of access inside the ropes to get stuff filmed, how amazing is that?
That would be very cool. That would be very, very cool.
That's going to be absolutely incredible. Like the grandstand around the first tee, that's going to be packed. So to get there, to get on that, you're going to have to be there at like 6 a.m. at the very least, and probably queuing up.
Yeah. I think the course designers, I think is it European Golf Design who did it?
Yes, yeah.
The guy who
Tom Fazio led it, I think.
The guy who
Tom Fazio gets everywhere.
the guy
Tom
who's
Fazio the second as well.
in charge of setting up the course layout. When they went there in 2011 or 2012, there's 27 holes. So they just picked their favorite 18 and turned it into the course. And they have built what they call a coliseum, which is lots of the holes playing back down into the valley in the middle. So in theory, your best vantage point is to be kind of on one of those hills, so you can see everyone playing.
Get to the top and look down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was quite similar Le Golf National as well. There was lots of natural amphitheaters there.
Designed by the same people.
Yeah, and it does make sense, and it doesn't have to be. And this is one thing that I think Ryder Cup courses potentially get unfairly criticised for. Is a Ryder Cup course does not have to be the best designed, the most challenging, the most artistic, the most features. It doesn't have to have any of that. It just needs to be a course which builds drama and which allows matches to play out in a dramatic way. Like, that's it, really. Like, the Golf National, I actually quite like it, but it's not it's not my top 20 courses.
Yeah.
And like Marco Simone's not my top 20. It's not my top 30. But it's just, it's just good for what it is.
It's built for the story and for the drama, isn't it?
It's going to be a good Ryder Cup.
Especially for those last couple of holes, like 16, 17, 18. Like you got the drivable par 4, the par 3, and then the par 5. Like it's going to be, epic. Those last couple of holes.
Yeah. It's like 18 kind of risk or reward holes is kind of what you'd want for a Ryder Cup course, and it just every time just have some kind of you could lay up, but also go for it.
Yeah.
And there's just ways of winning holes and ways of losing them as well.
Yeah.
Just a show of hands, who's actually been to a Ryder Cup?
If you are listening to the Rough Cut Golf podcast, there is no hands.
Well,
which have been raised.
I'll raise.
Have you been?
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because that's what I went to Celtic Manor.
Yeah, I've not been. I could have.
Which
Yeah.
hammered it down.
When was that?
Oh, yeah.
2010?
Yeah,
I think it was the
2010,
year
yeah.
before Medina.
Wow.
It was. I went on the Saturday, and the Friday it battered it down. I mean, we're in Wales, so and
The Celtic Manor, everyone who's been there, if they don't get rained on,
it's like the
surprise.
Belfry for me now.
It's like just
Yeah.
It's always raining on there, isn't it?
it's just in a
Belfries.
valley that just seems to suck all the rain into it.
Mad.
Yeah, more specifically Newport area. So yeah, it's a bit of a
So you can
bucketing down area.
You
but,
can tell us kind of from first-hand experience. How old were you when you went there? About 12 or something?
I would have been 13.
Yeah. You can tell us from first-hand teenage experience.
Yeah.
What it was like then to be at one.
Yeah,
Because we've only
it's-
ever watched one on TV or on YouTube.
It was in a time where golf was starting to become a thing for me. Like I never really was massively into it when I was like really, really young, apart from like clipping a few balls away with my grandparents and stuff. But I still loved it. But it was all about cricket and football. And then I got into golf a little bit more. So when I was there, I don't think I understood at the age of 13 the full sort of capacity of where I was or like what this event was, the history of it, all that kind of thing. All I just knew this was the collection of the greatest players playing for America and Europe at the time, and then they all just come to one place and you get to watch them play golf. It's the closest.
How convenient that they're all in the same place at once.
Oh, it's great. And that it was 40 minutes away from my house.
Oh, right, yeah.
We went. It was me, my dad, and my grandpa that went. The three of us, and I remember a lot of the day. Still only being 13, I remember being as close as we are to Tiger when on the, I think it's on the back nine. I can't remember the name of the hole or number of the hole. But there is a very good risk or reward hole at Celtic Manor where you can hit left of the trees and lay up, or you can go sort of through a gap at the green. It's par 4. And Tiger went for it, and the ball landed very close to us, and sort of we dispersed, and he was there. I remember walking past one of Miguel Angel Jimenez's cigars, still smoking on the ground, and like pointing at it to Dad and saying, "What's that?" As a 13-year-old that didn't really know what was going on, and Dad was like, "Oh, let me tell you, son. Don't go near him, son. Don't touch that, son." And then part of me now wishes I'd sort of pocketed it in a bag and sold it on eBay for £100. But yeah, no, it was a very surreal experience because I didn't know what was happening, but I also knew the capacity of it at the same time. But it was cool. It was
the first tee wasn't as. I think that's what I've noticed in the last like sort of couple of years or couple of Ryder Cups is that the first tee stand has just built.
It just kept going and going. Yeah, Celtic Manor was not.
Yeah,
it's just it's like a stadium now.
Yeah, like
they had a few. The only thing I remember as well with it was quite good is they had a couple of stands which were, and the way the course was laid out, that you could sit in one spot and you could literally watch 3 holes really well.
Yeah.
You know, you had like them hitting into 2, and then there was like a par 3 next to it, and you literally just had to turn. You could see the whole hole, and then behind that, so it was set up nicely for that kind of thing. But the weather didn't help. It wasn't
I think,
we're praying for good weather in Rome.
Hopefully in Rome it'll be all right.
I mean, good place to pray. Get yourself down to the Vatican on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Church on every corner.
Throw up a prayer to the Pope. Say, yo.
I don't think he has the power to grant prayers,
I'll be like,
unfortunately. I think he also prays to someone slightly more powerful.
Speak to the big man.
He's
what
got
he can
direct
do,
access.
Yeah.
He's got him on
And
speed
stick a
diesel.
European win in there whilst you're at it.
Up the phone. Get your razor flip out. Like,
Hello,
talk to
Moto.
I think it was one of the actual letdowns of Whistling Straits actually is that you would have thought that after Le Golf National with the first tee grandstand there, which was potentially the best thing that's happened in a Ryder Cup from a spectator standpoint because
Yeah.
it was just unbelievable, the atmosphere.
Yeah.
I actually thought that like being America and being, though I'm not gonna let those Europeans outshine us here.
Yeah.
I thought they would have built like a 40,000 seater at Whistling Straits.
Wait till
and
next year.
Just gone mental.
Just every hole is the 16th.
Yeah, literally just stadium hole, every hole.
Imagine.
But it was, it was
Coming
just
soon,
like a
by the
normal-
way. That's definitely where golf is going.
Yeah.
So I was a bit disappointed by that. But again, the first tee at Marco Simone, because when we were there, basically there was one side of the tee which was grandstand.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
if you've seen the video, the angle we shot is the only stand.
Yeah, but now it's
All the way
Is
around.
it all, I didn't know if it was all the way around. That's
Yeah, yeah.
wow.
So now we've got like a proper
Yeah,
atmosphere.
yeah.
So where your tee shot ended up,
In the fairway.
yeah, fairway. Yeah.
right hand side, does this?
Good angle in.
Well, of course, bit short on your approach. Fine. Does the stand come all the way down, kind of that far?
No.
But
It's just a surround.
Just
Yeah.
down that right hand side a little bit.
Because that's the thing, I don't know what the grandstand situation is out on the course. There were a few when we were there, but
Yeah.
it is more that case of saying, well, there's natural places to actually watch, which is good. Like it makes the course look a lot more kind of natural that way. This little rundown here, by the way, Kieran, where did you get this from?
This one. Which bit?
This bit here.
That little blurb.
I got that from Wiki. No, I got that from the actual Ryder Cup
Website.
Website.
website. Yeah.
Because I think this would give a good flavour.
Yeah, go on, hit
what we
us.
got. So it's par 71, 7,181 yards. So not massively long by modern standards. But the redesign of Marco Simone Golf and Country Club, led by European Golf Design in cooperation with Tom Fazio II, began in August 2018 and was completed in March 2021. It focused on creating a golf course specifically with the drama of match play in mind, with the previous layout rerouted not only to provide numerous risk and reward opportunities for the world's leading players, but also to maximise the natural rolling countryside terrain. Spectators will have unrivaled vantage points of the on-course action as well as distant views of the famous Eternal City, including spectacular views of St. Peter's Basilica and of the castle of Marco Simone, which is a little bit of a letdown, which together will provide the backdrop to golf's greatest team contest.
I don't know if that's in the voiceover.
That's not,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
that's not in there.
A little
bit
bit of
rubbish.
disappointment wasn't there.
Hey, listen,
that was ad-libbed.
Listen, you boys know that I'm a castle.
You're a castle guy.
And Marco Simone is just a big house.
Where was that? Where was that one?
Is it behind that par 3?
Yeah, no, it's on the course, and it's basically like a mansion house.
Oh, I know which one you mean. Yeah,
Yeah, it's got like a tower.
So it's not really a castle. But
It's not a castle. You know, if there was a zombie apocalypse like hitting, you'd be like, you know what? Is that the castle I'm going to go to? No, probably not.
Is that fortified? Maybe not.
I don't know. That's probably not the worst place to fortify yourself. Got 18 holes.
That's true.
If the Zomzoms take a break, knock out 9.
Yeah, but
Back in.
you'd also have to like mow it and stuff, like, and you wouldn't want to be caught on a mower.
They haven't bothered mowing it by the sounds of it. So.
Singers.
Wow, hello.
Get 'em.
That's the point. You'd be looking around, you'd be thinking like, oh, I'm safe, and then like a horde would just emerge from the rough. Like,
Yeah. You'd be like, I wish there were more natural vantage points where I could see all these zombies coming.
no, but that's away from the castle. You see,
damn
again, another reason why it's not a great castle. It's at the bottom of the hill.
Okay, so
Good chat.
people who either have or haven't watched a Ryder Cup before, can you talk us through the kind of format, the normal format of how it works, and maybe kind of the results from last year for an understanding of what the kind of history of those days is? Because it breaks down to the days are different formats, aren't they?
Yeah. So Friday and Saturday are where you're in pairs.
Okay.
So Friday morning, Friday afternoon. Friday morning could be 4 balls where all the 4 players use their own balls, and the team with the lowest score on that hole will win, go 1 up, 1 down, all the rest of it. If it's 4 balls in the morning, it's foursomes in the afternoon.
Yep.
And foursomes is
1 player tees off, and then the partner plays the next shot, and
Alternate
then the
shot.
alternate
shot. Yeah.
okay.
So,
cool.
sorry, just to interrupt there. So the selection of 4-ball or foursomes is done by the...
It's down to the captain.
Right, okay.
So, yeah, makes a decision, and it can go either way on either day.
Yeah. So the tradition is that you would put out your strongest pairing to go and get some points, or is the tradition to put out
Usually
some
foursomes
rookies?
is kind of the one they start with because supposedly that would be the harder sort of format to do because you haven't got 2 goes at it. You've got this alternate version. So I suppose if that's which European this team element of the Friday and Saturday has historically recently been pretty strong for us. Whether that's the way he'll do it again this year, we'll wait and see.
Yeah, it depends on the players as well. So in foursomes, because it's alternate shot, you might not automatically put out, say, your longest hitter who might be a bit erratic because you don't want them to be putting the partner in trouble. Like if you think of a Brian Harmon, Patrick Cantley combo.
Oh my God, is there any that should be in black and white?
Like that might be a foursomes partner which will go undefeated within the next 30 years of the Ryder Cup. Like because neither of them put the ball in much trouble. They're very accurate and they're good putters. It could be like an
boring.
yeah, but you'd hate to play against them.
This is Justin Rose is our forte in this one. I think he's got like a 75% win rate in foursomes since he's been playing. Yeah.
So imagine like, let's say we got Justin Rose and we pop Justin Rose with Tommy Fleetwood. Like we're talking
Team.
very, very...
Fleets.
Actually, no, Fleetwood.
Off
no,
the tee, not.
You'd probably, let's say Rose and Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
Like them two guys, absolutely
Yeah,
deadly.
I could see that.
Hatton, again, the
Hatton,
same. Yeah, Fleetwood. Yeah, the foursomes and four balls are very, very different because you've got to get on with your partner. And you also need to be able to
You gotta talk.
You need to be able to get on with your partner enough that if you hit a bad shot in foursomes, it's not awkward.
Yeah. Okay. So the Americans put out their first pairing, and it comes up, and it's Cantley and Koepka.
Oh God.
That's not. I'm gonna put it out there and probably say Koepka won't play in the foursomes.
No, I don't.
Okay. So there's another thing. Not all players play every day.
Correct.
No, so what you will tend to find is that, especially with the rookies, is that the captains will tend to put the rookies out in the four balls.
Yep.
Because there's a little bit less pressure because you've got you generally put a rookie with someone a bit more experienced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just so they can get that experience themselves and they don't feel too overawed, which is almost impossible on the first hole of a Ryder Cup. It's the one thing that literally every single professional who plays in it talks about. How it's just a completely different atmosphere to any other event. How I remember chatting to literally Luke Donald about this and how he was the main concern that he had on his Ryder Cup debut was not hitting a good shot; it was getting the ball on the tee.
Wow.
That's
these jobs.
That's the pressure and the nerves we're talking about here. Like so, if you've imagined you've not played in this before,
And you've got someone who has,
yeah,
they can go, listen.
put it on the tee for you.
that first tee, not,
Could you also hit this for me as well, please?
like not even teeing it up, just drive off the deck and then
Just throws it.
chucks it down.
Oh, God.
Because that's why you see, like, certainly in the last few years, about a lot of the not a lot of the pros, but a few of the pros, like, G the crowd up and get them to make noise and clap as they're hitting.
So Watson's famous for it.
Yeah.
Poulter's had a
He had a bit of a go at it.
Yeah.
And a few will do it again this year because it almost like breaks the tension a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah. If you pretend that the crowd aren't there, they suddenly have kind of power over you. But if
Yeah.
you acknowledge them and
Well, just the eyeballs feel a little bit hotter on the back of your head, don't you? That if there's that silence and everyone's looking at you.
it's like when, like, when you play through a group, you're playing on your own, or as a two, and you play through a group, and
Yeah.
as you're I don't know how to turn it off, but your brain goes, thank you, yeah, thanks very much, and then you stand up and you turn around and go, this could go anywhere.
Yeah, you've got to like set them up.
And,
Like,
and then it puts you in a situation where you're like, well, if it does, then I already told you it was going to. And if it doesn't, I look like a legend.
It's incredible, isn't it? Like how you'd imagine around that first tee, you got thousands of people watching, and if they like stay quiet, they don't make a noise. How heavy that silence is.
Yeah.
The pressure of just that many people watching you on this stage. It must be unbelievable.
Yeah.
What's the closest thing you've had to that kind of feeling?
I don't know. I've had obviously since we've been doing YouTube, been quite lucky to play in front of quite big crowds. So I've literally played in front of thousands of people. Like did the Shot of Glory at Waste Management, stuff like that.
And that's
When-
only
when
one
we're-
shot.
That's one shot. Well, that's quite similar. That's like a no warm up. You've got one shot at this green with thousands of people watching. It's a very different feeling because your body starts to do things and you start to feel things that you just wouldn't normally be used to. So, so all of a sudden you stood over the ball, and I remember, like, certainly last year, I was stood over the ball at the Waste Management about to hit this shot, and I was like, are my hands normally this high?
No.
Yeah.
Like, I'm stood at the ball and think, well, where did that just come from?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I'm like, well, you got to hit the shot. And this is literally a voice in my head. I'm having an argument with myself.
Wow.
And my hand's this high up. It doesn't really matter. You got to hit the shot. I said, well, it might go left. And they said, you don't want to like shove it out right. This is all happening within the space of a second. And all of a sudden you just hit the bloody ball.
Yeah. How do I do a takeaway?
Yeah, yeah. do I normally breathe in? I've not breathed for 2 minutes. Why is the sun in that position? And it's just like...
Why do my shoes hurt?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Why didn't I shave this morning? And it's just like, if you think about, obviously I am so far away from being an elite golfer, but these guys, imagine how much pressure they're under. Because the good thing about golf is that you can put yourself in their shoes. Like you said, like a playthrough hole. That's loads of pressure for an amateur golfer. It's just that with about 10,000 more people.
Yeah.
No different then.
You know,
Same thing, isn't it?
I think it kind of gets to the point though. It's like if you're a climber, like once you get a certain height above the ground, like it doesn't matter if you fall.
All of it's going to kill me.
Yeah, like 20. Yeah, if you get 20 meters above the ground, that is no different than being 2,000 meters above the ground.
Yeah, okay.
Less oxygen. But
I'll give myself more chance at 20, but yeah, I get your point.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It starts to get to the point where it doesn't matter if there's 20, 40,
Yeah.
200 people around that team, whatever. But it must be an incredible... Imagine the feeling, though, if you nail it.
yeah. And I have felt that on the 17th at the Castle course.
Big pressure.
Yeah.
Big pressure.
You had like...
We all had the green, then.
Yeah. We all at the green, but you had like 16 people on... Well, we all did, to be fair. But,
Yeah.
I'll have to... I don't want to make too much work for Kira, so if we can't find it, we can't. But we'll just try and find Mick's breath out before we hit that
yeah.
shot.
I think I might have it on my phone.
It was panic stations, I'm not going to lie.
Unbelievable.
Dude, like, you lot are all hitting, and you're all hitting the green and like, high-fiving. Woohoo. I'm like, oh my God, it's my turn. Like, it's my
Were you secretly in your head thinking, can someone like duff it?
No, because we had a really good round. And I wanted everyone to finish strong, which was great. But then I turned around and I was like, all the other groups have caught us up because we were waiting on the group in front of us.
It's slow. If you've not played the Castle Course 17th, picturesque par 3, but you hit over a massive ravine down to the beach. So if you duff it, you're dead.
Yeah, and you all hit the green, and I took more club than I needed.
Back to the bag.
Closed my eyes. Swung really hard.
So Ludwig, if you're listening,
Yeah,
just
so that's all you need to do.
shut your eyes and
Honestly, that's what these guys will be doing, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, does it change your approach to that first tee shot, having a crowd there? If you go and play Marco Simone any other day of the year, you hit drive off the first and be like, yeah, I'll be all right. Do you consider making a change based on the environment and the atmosphere?
No, not really. I think if you are, say, a little bit nervous with your 3-wood, you might be like, you know what?
yeah, go to a club.
The driver's got the biggest face here. I'm going to take a driver and just give it a whack.
Okay.
Because like the first hole's it's not a write-off, but like as long as you get through it, like you can then settle down a bit.
Yeah.
Like these guys are going to be nervous. Even like the people who've played in it before, like they're all going to be nervous on that first tee.
And so that's the 4 balls, and that's Friday and Saturday. And there's a morning and an afternoon session.
Yeah.
Can you play in both sessions?
Yeah. There's players that will play like
All 5.
Rory is likely to go through all 5. Rahm potentially will go through all 5.
Yeah, he will.
So
Maybe.
you'll-
Hoffland
He
maybe.
did last time. Didn't win though. But
both Fridays, both Saturdays, and then Sunday. What happens on Sunday?
It's 1v1, the singles.
Okay, and talk us through how it normally goes down.
Literally the captain.
the Americans win.
What the
I thought you said you weren't supporting them.
I've got to do something for the Americans.
the captains basically write down what their preferred order is. So every now and again, there's a little bit of conferring. So sometimes, like in the past, certain players have gone to the captain and said, I want to play X.
Yeah.
And then the captain will go to the opposing captain and say, listen, Dave, what a joker. He really wants to play John.
Yeah, wasn't there a situation where Poulter wanted Tiger?
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me.
It was maybe the one before Medina.
There's a few examples in the past that are tickle in the back of my mind that'll come to. But if it ever comes to that, the captains will normally go.
I don't
Okay,
really
I'm going
like
to put
that
them
though.
out.
I just like the thought of like the
go
two
to the first
captains
tee and you-
pinning up their teams
Yeah.
on the board,
Yeah,
and they just
yeah.
line up, and it's
Yeah,
just
which is what normally happens.
obviously like you're going to have. It would be amazing if Rory doesn't go out first again, because he always goes out first. I think the last 3 times he's gone out first on the Sunday. But we might see someone stand up a little bit more and decide to go for it. But I think Rory will go 1 again.
So does everyone play in the singles?
Yeah.
Yes, all 12 players. Yeah.
So what tended to happen in the past is that the captains would kind of like backload it. So they'd say, "Oh, I'm going to put Tiger at 10 because that might be the match that decides things." Whereas I think it was at the Belfry, it kind of switched around. The Medina was the same, where the captains literally front loaded everything to try and get a bit of momentum.
Get blue on the board.
Blue on the board. The blue wave.
Yeah.
I think the story was that Paul McGinley didn't tell the other team that was what he was going to do, and he just front loaded it and didn't say anything.
Well, you wouldn't tell the other team.
Yeah, so the Americans.
Hey, America, here's my tactics.
Well, no,
when,
like
when do you reckon they find out? When did they?
The-
The
day
morning-
off. Day off.
The teams go in an envelope.
Yeah.
They go in. They open them.
Really?
There we go.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure Paul McGinley had communicated with the captain. Who was captain that year for the US?
It was Tom Watson, wasn't it?
Watson. Yeah, he came back. He was like 68 years old or something, oldest captain in Ryder Cup history, I think.
Yeah, it was just before Phil threw him under the bus in the press conference.
Savage. Oh yes, it was. Okay, so I'm thinking of the right year, and McGinley put out all the strongest players first, which hadn't happened for like 3 or 4 Ryder Cups, and Watson was like, "Yeah, we'll be all right," and he just had this completely blasé attitude about how everything was going to be fine and how the US would triumph, even though they hadn't thought about all of the things that Paul McGinley had thought about.
I don't remember it like that. I just remember Tom Watson being a legend that he always is. Phil Mickelson being a douche.
Well, Phil Mickelson is a douche.
But yeah, and that's kind of how the draw made. And I think in the past, historically, it's always been said that Europe do better in the doubles formats, and the US do better in the singles. But last time out, I mean, US won every single session, and just absolutely dominated. So I would say that was a very weak European team, and it wasn't a great European team as far as like their form at that point of time, and the US team was just so much stronger.
Wasn't it in terms of world ranking that US side was in aggregate like the strongest I think they maybe ever had?
I think world ranking does come into it, but it was just form. Like
I'm not saying that's like the be all and end all, but just in terms of on paper, just as a side, in terms of that year, they were significantly stronger.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's always said, like, I think a lot is made of like how many kind of tour wins players have going into Ryder Cups.
Yeah.
And sometimes, the quality of the players obviously makes a difference. And if you're a high caliber player, you're going to win more tournaments. But match play is just different.
Yeah.
Like, you're not playing the course, you're playing the player. Yeah. And sometimes you could see really good players just not be able to cope with match play.
Tiger's a great example.
Tiger's perfect example.
Yeah. No,
Brooks is pretty close.
There
to
are
that
players that you just maybe not from straight away. You kind of have to see them in a Ryder Cup to find out, but they are just built for them. They just they turn it on. They prefer that atmosphere mentally. They must have something that they can switch on and off easier than others.
I think it's the case, and it's maybe kind of slightly weighted because people like the underdog. But you'll often say that if there's a really good player, like a McIlroy, for example, who plays in the Ryder Cup and plays well, it's kind of like, oh, well, that's expected. It's Rory McIlroy.
Yeah.
If they play poorly in the Ryder Cup, it's like, oh, it's good in events, but you can't do match play. Whereas you get someone like a Poulter who's obviously won events, but he's not a prolific tour winner. As soon as it got to the Ryder Cup, it just unleashed a different animal.
Yeah, he grew up wanting to play for Arsenal, didn't he? So team sport was in his blood.
He did, yeah.
And it just does things to players like Sergio. Sergio like just couldn't putt like most of the year. He won a few events because he was such an incredible ball striker, but his putting was always his weakness. Gets to the Ryder Cup, all of a sudden,
Can't touch him.
it's Ben Crenshaw. It's like, what has just happened?
How
there?
did you do that?
Like, and it's the same with like Tommy Fleetwood to an extent.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he's a good putter, but like during those crunch moments in events we've talked about, he just doesn't seem to be able to get the ball like in the hole with as much authority as he does other rounds. Ryder Cup comes around.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, the ball just gets to that hole with more pace and goes in.
So those are I mean, there is some great examples of people who are going to do a great job at the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
Who's going to surprise us this year, do you reckon?
I think,
And that can be a good or a bad surprise.
Oh yeah, I like him.
so I would say that. So I don't think Wyndham Clark is going to have a particularly good Ryder Cup, just because that course, it just wouldn't, in my mind, suit him at all. But I'd love to be surprised. Well, I'd love to be surprised. It'd be great if he did surprise me for him.
Yeah.
Obviously not for Team Europe.
So your surprise is you're going to be surprised that he does better than
Exactly.
you think.
Yeah.
It's like the inception of surprises.
I think everybody expects Brian Harman to do really well. I don't think he will.
No, I think the
Ooh,
pressure will get to him.
Interesting.
Because I just...
I think
I'm kind of saying this is more hope. Than
I think
expectation.
I think he might do well in singles because he seems to me like someone who the reason that he was so good at the Open was because he just like was inside his own head and just concentrated on doing the rhythm and I think if he gets into a match with someone who gives him a bit of grief on the other end and there's a bit of shouting and screaming, if he's playing in a team, might not be great for him because communication is very important.
Yeah, and what do you think about like the JT and Jordan Spieth sort of? Obviously, they're very likely to kind of be paired up in maybe the foursomes or the four ball. Like, not had a great couple of years.
I'm happy that Justin Thomas is going. I'll tell you that much.
I think he might be a surprise. I think
In that he'll do better than we
think
think
he'll
he
do
will.
better than we
yeah,
think,
I can get with that. Max Home is the one for me. I think he will do better. Not that maybe I don't know what people are expecting of him, but I think he'll have a good Ryder Cup. Personally,
Yeah. To be honest, I think there's going to be ups and downs through all of these. My biggest fear with the US team is that Scotty Scheffler suddenly learns how to putt.
Don't say things like that.
But no, we've just spoken about how, for whatever reason, when some players get to the Ryder Cup, their putting becomes unbelievable because it's a different format.
Yeah.
And I've got a horrible, smelly feeling that Scotty Scheffler is just going to start holing putts. And it's going to just be so disappointing because he's going to hit every fairway and green. So if he starts holding some putts, then yeah, we're an issue.
It won't be good for us. What about the European team? Because we got some newbies who we weren't expecting to have.
Yeah, we've got some rookies. We've got 4 in there, so it's kind of. I think Stracker's going to have a good Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be good. I don't think he's going to play all 5, but I think when he gets put out onto the golf course, I think he's going to do really well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't know where the level is with Aberg at the minute, because it feels like potentially to say the surprise would be that he would do badly, because I think people have got this high expectation on him that he's such a good player.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to do fine. I don't see sort of one or the other from him.
Yeah. I think Fitz will struggle.
Yeah, but he's not won a single point in the Ryder Cup, so I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just kind of one of them. Justin Rose, I think as a guy who's played in so many and is sort of the veteran of the side now, I think he's just sneakily going to just do a really, really good job for us.
I think that Fitzpatrick's actually going to have a really good Ryder Cup.
Okay, because that would be a surprise.
Because he's got a very different game going into this Ryder Cup than he has previously. Like, for a start, he's 50 yards longer.
That's true.
Which makes a difference. And he's also...
Unless that 50 yards runs out into the rough, Peter.
Nah, that'll be fine. And he's also like one of the best putters on either team. So I think he'll be good. And I've just got this feeling that Rahm is just going to go absolutely nuclear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's another one of those like animalistic...
Mm-hmm.
Got
Just
a bit of a nasty streak in him. That's the kind of thing you need, isn't it?
Yeah, and I just got this feeling that he's just gonna just explode with birdies.
Oh god, I can't. I'm actually getting
big goosebumps.
I'm actually getting so excited.
Yeah. Do you think he'll play? I think we touched on it earlier. Do you think he'll play all 5
I
with
think
him and
he
Rory?
will.
Who out of the USA do you think is going to be playing 5?
Scotty, I would assume, would
I
be in 5.
I'd say that whole bottom row is. So our bottom row here is Xander Schauffele, Scotty Scheffler, Jordan Spieth, and Jordan,
It's so
Justin
tricky
Thomas.
with Spieth and Thomas because just like, historically they just don't get separated and they just play all the time. But I don't know how confident Zach Johnson is with playing Thomas that much. I'd
put Fowler out. I'd put Fowler out over Justin Thomas.
I think Cantlay and Schauffele as well, because them two have played together a lot in these competitions and done very well. And
I didn't realise how well Patrick Cantlay actually did last year. He won. Well, what does it say there? Won 3, lost 1.
Yeah, besides DJ, who won all 5.
Yeah. What's
think
that?
he was-
That's a draw, isn't it? On the right, this one.
Yeah.
Because the Americans put draws at the end.
Right, got you.
It's the thing though, like every time I see Cantley, he gives off like proper American psycho vibes. So I think like he's going to be just a stone cold killer.
Yeah.
And that's I think with Schauffele, yes, good part. The one thing I'd say about the US team is there's weaknesses there, but it's pretty strong like throughout.
Yeah.
Like there's not really. I know it's a stupid thing to say, but there's less question marks about, I would say, some of the US team than there is the European team.
Yeah, 100%. I would say that people like Aberg, Højgaard, I think Strecker had a great year, so he probably doesn't count. McIntyre potentially for me. Like those 3, I'm kind of.
What Shane Lowry we're going to get?
what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Going off the last one.
Dude, what Rory we're gonna get, for God's sake? We could get early season Rory, or we could get he's bought a new putter at the end of the season, Rory.
I reckon Shane's going to be. I back Shane to have a good one. This one.
Shane and Tommy in a pairing.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean
shit,
Shane had a good Ryder Cup last time, but he was like the only
kind
of shining light, wasn't he? Really? But I don't know. I think it's very evenly matched. I think we have probably. I think we've got the 3 at this current moment in time. I think we've probably got the 3 best players in McIlroy, Rahm, and Hovland. I think those 3
We
are
haven't even spoken about Hovland.
absolute fuego. You'd obviously Scheffler's the number 1 player in the world, but he's number 1 player in the world because he just absolutely beats the living hell out of the ball in distance and accuracy. We know that the Ryder Cup is more about putting.
Yeah.
So that's why I probably wouldn't put him up there. But after that,
putting
I
and
think-
mental game as well. Like, if you've been struggling with your putting all year, the one time you don't want to be thinking about it is when your entire country's hopes are on the line.
it was I heard it. I think it was like a month ago, and it was on I think it was No Laying Up podcast, but it was more like the struggles that Scotty was having on the green. Like him and his caddy were talking through a putt, and his caddy said, "Oh, it's on the lip," and Scotty turned around and said, "Which lip?"
Oh, really?
Good Lord.
Wow.
Now that probably indicates
Is he number 1 in the world?
that he's not quite seeing the putts.
Yeah.
So
Good for us, bad for him.
Yeah.
That's mad.
Maybe like him and Harmon would be a great like
Just both boring as hell.
As a
Foursomes,
foursomes,
yeah,
like
yeah.
him to do sort of off the tee.
I think Scotty with anyone in foursomes is going to be pretty deadly.
yeah.
Homer and
He's going to
Harmon.
hold some.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, we're talking about it like he can't putt.
Yeah.
He's just not as good a putter as he could have been. If he was a good putter this year, he'd have won 15 events.
Yeah.
He's been striking it that well.
Yeah.
Literally,
You
the
are-
stats
yeah,
show that.
Yeah, you are right. Yeah.
So if that's what I mean. If he turns it on, it's going to be trouble for Europe.
But they
gonna be
have
an
got
issue.
they've got more appearances across the team. So Europe have got 21 appearances across the board, and US have got 17. So it's
Tiny bit more experience.
Yeah, tiny little bit more experience, but not massive amounts.
But are lots of those European experiences us not winning?
Well, I mean,
Because it's great to go and experience it,
Yeah.
but the thing that you actually want is people who know how to go and win at one of these
yeah,
jobs.
well, like Rose and Rory make up 12 of those. So
Yeah.
this, it's but it's interesting.
It's going to be, I mean, naturally kind of moving on then, I suppose, to how we're going to predict things to go. It's something that I think I've stated very obviously. I think Europe are going to win it.
Yeah.
Not by a landslide for sure.
Yeah.
I think just the biggest factor for me is that we are playing in Europe. I think that's just such a monumental factor in how poor the States have done, well, not poor, but how they've not won here for so long is really that's the kind of thing that just keeps the little thing in the back of my head just says to me all the time.
Since you've been alive, Jacob.
Yeah.
That's absurd.
They've not beaten us.
And you're old.
I'm old, yeah.
So you're going to go for European win?
European win, yeah.
By how many points?
2 points, I think they'll win by.
Okay.
I would echo that. I'd say Europe 15-13.
I think it's going to be.
You want to say the US so badly.
You got to give your honest prediction.
My opinion, I think, is going to be. What is it to retain at 14?
14 and
14.
a half.
14
14 to retain.
14.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 14. 14? Is that the maths?
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be that tight that it's going to be 14-14.
Okay.
I think we're going to win by 5.
Wow. Brutal.
I just can't see it going any other way. We're in Europe. Everyone's feeling good. Hovland's not swearing. Hovland's bashing the ball. Like there's no way that we don't go and do them by 5 points.
I do have a little acca for people if they want to
Go on.
If they want to have a little dabble.
Broadbridge bet of the week. It's time for Jacob to break down the stats of who's going to win the Ryder Cup and how.
Europe are going to win. But no, I do. I do have a couple of thoughts on stuff, and I've just tried to put 3 things together. Basically, who I think is going to win, who I think is going to be top point scorer for America and Europe as well. And I've already stated, I think Europe will win. That's obviously slightly opinion based, but I just think that the setup and structure and our history in Europe just kind of overrides a lot of it because the teams in my mind are quite close. In regards to top point scorer for the Americans, I do actually think, and I've said his name so many times in these, but I think it's going to be Patrick Cantlay.
Yeah.
For God's sake.
I just think that it was between him and Scotty. And the biggest factor is who do I think is going to play 5 times? Just give yourself the best opportunity. And I just think that even Scotty will play a lot. I think his putting will come in at some point, and he's not going to be able to putt well 5 times. Like he'll have one day where he doesn't putt great. So that's kind of where I sort of lose a little bit of consistency with him. And also the fact that Cantlay scored 9.5 points out of an available 13 across all team events he's played.
Flaming good, that.
I think the Schauffele-Cantlay partnership will be used a lot. They played together in that tournament on the PGA Tour when it's that double, and they always absolutely crush it together. I think they'll be utilised really, really well, and I think he's good on his own in a singles. In terms of Europe, I completely agree with Pete. I think Rahm is going to just turn animalistic this Ryder Cup.
I want to see him like...
He was leading point scorer for Europe over the last 3 editions. There's no reason for me to think that he won't do the same, and I think he will play 5 times. It just kind of seems so obvious to me. If you want to chance Rahm a little bit more and go for a little bit of an outside bet, I still think Europe, because they are the underdog in terms of betting, so you're going to get the higher odds for that. But I do think Homer's going to do really well. He won all 5 of his matches in the President Cup that he played. I think he suits all formats of what we're going to play in the Ryder Cup, and add Tommy Fleetwood onto that as well. I think he is one of those guys that knows how to win Ryder Cup matches. If he can find a partnership like he did with Molinari in France, then that just kind of really like staples him on to be a high point scorer. And I think there's something like he's won 65% of points that he's made available to him. So he's got a good winning track record.
So 62.5.
There you go, 62.5.
Bloody hell.
So Europe, Cantlay and Rahm, and then if you want a little bit more, Europe, Homer and Fleetwood.
Interesting.
Do you mean...
Yeah, that's right. No, he said if you want to take a little bit more of a risk, Europe's still winning it, but then Homer and Fleetwood to score highest.
Right. Got you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It totally depends on whether the players we expect to do well come out and actually do well, and whether there's any kind of weird outsiders who, Abo could blow it up. He could go absolutely nuts. He's not scared.
This is a birdie making competition, and he is really good at making birdies. Yeah. So there's no reason why he can't. I just don't think he'll play 5 times. So
Yep.
Is the course any different as a left-hander for Bobby Mack? Sorry for dropping you, Bobby, halfway through the season.
Not sorry enough not to do it though.
No, it's right. Yeah.
I would say no, not massively. There's there's a few dog legs, but they're kind of, there's some left to right, there's some right to left. It's a decent mix. To be honest with Rob, he's obviously won there before, so he has good feelings about that course. He's just, it feels like he's a rookie. His form's been a little bit inconsistent. He just feels like a bit of a wild card. Like no one really knows kind of what he's going to do.
Yeah.
It's kind of like and that's for me kind of where I net out really on the European teams. There's a few players in there where we don't really know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
There's a few pluses as far as like Hatton is actually coming into this Ryder Cup in form.
Yeah.
Massive difference because he's one of the best putters out there.
And he won the Pro-Am at the BMW.
That he did. almost won the BMW.
The double. Oh, that'd have been incredible.
He should have done the double.
He should have done the
He should
double,
have done the double.
And then Fitzpatrick's the same, kind of in form, one of the best putters. It's so difficult because it's just like, I think if the European team turn up and play to their potential, I think they're a better team overall than the US. So
Rookies, like you need 2 sessions from them, really, don't you? Like not all of them are they're all gonna obviously play the singles, and then if you can stick them maybe into 1 or 2 of the 4 balls in the afternoon, and just ask them to go and try and get like 1.5 points, that would be
go and halve your match if
but,
you can.
I mean, in terms of across from Europe and USA, the rookies in an American side tend to do a little bit better. The only time that the Europeans have had a leading point scorer was Thomas Pieters as a rookie, and that was in 2016, which was in Hazeltine, as we learned at the beginning.
quite close to Oak Hill.
Whereas I think the Americans, 2 of their last 4, they've been rookies, was the leading point scorers, and that was Reed 2014 and Thomas, which was in 2018. Wow. I didn't realise his rookie was only in 2018.
Feels late.
Yeah.
Wow, that seems really late.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like, are you sure you're sure?
Well,
Do you sure it wasn't a typo?
have a
We'll be able to
check.
see it on here.
I hope I'm right.
We can click. If we click on it, is it going to come up?
No, it's not going to come up. Well, he's only played twice.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So,
Makes sense.
Crazy.
But he has got a 72% win rate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he's only played 2 tournaments.
But he's played 9 matches.
Yeah, but that's why they wanted him there, because like he said before that, you know, he'd rather play in a Ryder Cup than win majors. Like that.
Yeah.
This is his thing.
Yeah. Thing is,
I'm sorry, what?
What helps him is that he win majors as well.
Yeah.
So it's like,
But he,
like
that's
it-
the thing, he said that before he'd won a major.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that's like how much he wants to play.
How many does he want? 2? Isn't it?
2,
Yeah, 2. Yeah.
So
What a guy.
I think we've got 3 for Europe, 1 for the US. I think we've all got kind of like our star players out of the way as well, who we think is going to perform.
Yeah, it's going to be. I think it's Rahm, and I think Stracker's going to have a weird good one.
Weird good one.
Yeah.
Good one.
This was a birdie maker again.
Yeah.
Just
I can smell Stracker being like a 3-1.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, I'll take that all day. Bite your hand off.
I can imagine Rahm being like a 5-0, almost 5.5 with the amount of fist pumps he's going to do. The big worry for me is Rahm is that he injures himself celebrating.
fist pumping too much.
I honestly think he might pull his back if he carries on. If it's just like anything, like watched him in Paris. He obviously had that massive celebration when he won, but like just holding like a 3.5 foot and his eyes just like going into full on predator mode.
Love it.
Can we just have a moment of quiet reflection for the fact that there's no Italians in the team,
It's a shame.
and that, I mean, being in Rome, and
Not the playing
You're going to
team.
say, I know what you're going to say.
yeah,
You're going to
But-
say.
that Mollers is going.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna
both,
be there.
Both Mollers.
But yeah, both say
I've-
both
I've-
Mullers again.
I've organised a few drinks with him. Me and Mozza.
I was looking at the vice captains. Lafrabel,
Lafrabal's
Olafable.
in.
Sorry, Olafable is the is in, and Colt starts as well. And then who else is it?
Eduardo and Francesco.
Yeah, Brescia. And then there's one more. Is there not? There's 5.
I don't think there was.
There was. Yeah,
you
when
might be right,
when
actually.
I was looking on the thing, Colt starts, Olafable, both the Molinaris, and
You know,
One more.
Luke Donald's going to be there, right?
yeah, and Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lukey
I
D.
thought there was one more, but maybe I'm
Comment
wrong.
below who it is, and Kieran
Yeah.
forgot.
Yeah,
Good preparation, Kieran.
Right.
Fell at
No,
the
Kieran, you did an
last.
excellent job because all of this information was put together by Kieran Mulhall this morning. So
You
did a very-
forgetting someone's name is probably not the best thing to what's about to happen now, which I believe is guess the player.
yeah.
It is indeed. Are we ready?
We are.
Let's do it.
Hello and welcome back to the 2023 Rough Cut Open. I'm your host, Mick Warwick. This is the game where your knowledge of golf history is more important than your ability to actually hit the ball. How the game works. At the end of each episode, I describe the life and career of a famous golfer, and after each clue, these accomplished professionals write down who they think it is. However many hints it takes them to get home is how many shots they took on that hole. So, if you get a par 5 after just 4 clues, you would finish that hole in 1 under par. We rejoin the action with favourite Peter Finch and stat-focused Jacob Broadbridge, both coming off a miraculous hole-in-one on the last. But things are about to get wild as we tackle the second par 5 of the tournament in this Ryder Cup themed hole. Can rookie Kieran Mulhall bridge the ever-growing gap? Let's find out as the players tee it up.
Welcome to the tee box.
I can't tee it. My hand's shaking.
Oh no, I'm so
I was just
nervous.
about to say, make sure you ask your more experienced partner to put the ball in the ground for you. Right, okay, so this is a par 5 today. It plays as a par 6 for the members.
How long is it?
Wow.
Over
Right.
600 yards.
It's driver, right? And you might not make it.
Me and Jacob are that confident we've put 7 already. And you've just gone for the 6.
I've got 6, yeah. I'll be disappointed. Yeah, I'm pretty big off the team. I can get home.
Yeah.
What are the scores on doors, by the way?
So the current situation is that Peter Finch is ahead. He is 5 under.
Such a good start.
You're a good player.
5 under
Through 5.
through 5.
Nice.
Heavy club twirl.
Have you
action
ever done that
going
in real life?
all the time.
Okay.
Isn't that like with a double in there as well? Like a bogey? Or like,
No, I think actually.
bogey.
No,
I've got 2 all-in-ones.
I think you've got 2 hole-in-ones, and I think you maybe have.
must have had
you've done very well.
Yeah, whatever
Absurdly well. Whatever you've done, it's been too good. Hence this par 6
this
today.
one, which is going to be ridiculous.
Jacob's 2 under with his hole-in-one in the fog last time.
Yeah, I'm really happy with that.
That was unbelievable. Well done. Someone commented, and thank you so much if you are commenting. It really does. It does make us laugh when you put funny stuff about guest a player. Someone put, Jacob's thinned 4-iron must have miraculously gone in the hole.
Oh, it was thin.
It was very thin.
And it was miraculous.
It was flaming good. And Kieran is plus 6. So
Let's move on. Yeah.
you're 6.
Tee
You're
shot.
6 over.
Yeah, I'm 11 shots behind Pete.
Yeah, you got some work to do.
I'm just going for second now. So.
A lot of holes.
It's a lot of golf to play. A lot.
It's a stinky round so far.
Yeah.
You are Maurice Flitcroft right now.
I am.
What actually might happen is you might get to 9 and go, like where is it, Prestwick, where they take you back to the clubhouse and they're like, sack it off.
Have a beer.
I
think it might be 12. Is it 12 or 13?
You don't need to keep doing this to yourself.
I think David might have to sub in.
Well, you're saying
about
that.
9.
I went and tested this on David, and he didn't get it even after I'd given him the 6th clue. So
Yeah,
It's not
that's
what I
the
want.
thing that really worries me because he's a very
He's a bit of an
knows-
anorak
He
with
knows
golf,
this
so-
sort of stuff.
okay, I'm assuming everyone's hitting driver.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, yeah. To your highlight.
I might as well give it a go, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Shot number 1.
Oh.
Into-
One.
No, I was about to give you some help, but I've got to refrain
Yeah,
from
just-
helping.
just
you.
go for it,
We're
mate.
good. We're good. Don't cause your stuff.
In 2006, in recognition of his contributions to the sport of golf, this player was awarded an OBE. In 2006, in recognition of his contribution to the sport of golf, this player was awarded an OBE.
Oh my god.
If you get another hole in one, I'm going to be so angry.
being serious?
He definitely has got it.
No way. Can I have any sort of clue in the sense of like?
No.
No. Okay. Has he played in the Ryder Cup or?
Well,
I'm going to guess yes.
it's a Ryder Cup special, so assume no.
Could this be considered the great shot of all time? If I get a hole in one?
Yes,
It's seriously downwind.
you've hit the bloody cart path, mate.
I've took a swing at this, and I thought, you know what? It was kind of one of those where it's pretty wide fairway.
Okay.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to swing as hard as I possibly can. And I think I might have just hit this pure.
Right through the back.
And I think it's hit the car path. and that car path goes all the way to the green. No, I'm not going to show
You're not going to show me?
No.
Okay.
It's a really hard clue, but like I feel like if
It's
you
not,
do,
if you know it, then
if
you know it.
know, like you know it, sort of thing. I was only 6 years old at the time, so
Well, it's not Nick Faldo because he's a sir and he'll tell you.
Should have studied harder, shouldn't you?
should have
It's
studied
Jack.
harder. Yeah.
Okay. You've
I've hit it.
hit the fairway,
Yeah.
maybe. You don't know.
Sure, yeah. Why
Took
not?
a swing at it.
Shot number 2. In the year this player competed at their first Ryder Cup, tournament legends Seve Ballesteros and Tony Jacklin were both missing. In the year that this player competed at their first Ryder Cup,
Oh.
He is folding over and he's not even writing a name.
tournament legends Seve Ballesteros and Tony Jacklin were both missing.
I wrote Tony Jacklin as my tee shot. Just to let you know.
Okay, well, that's a bad idea because he's in the next clue.
Be pretty easy. Guess the player.
Yeah.
The player is in the
Straight
clue.
out of the gate. Yeah, so this is on the putting green.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a trick question, like a false front.
I mean, I guess I might as well just.
Oh no.
I think I might as well just
Sorry.
keep it.
Can I just have one more repeat on that?
In the year this player competed at their first Ryder Cup, tournament legends Seve Ballesteros and Tony Jacklin were both missing.
I'm just gonna keep.
Oh,
Mine.
might do actually. Yeah.
There's no point having it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, go on.
This is your third shot. It's still, annoyingly enough, still a long iron.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, you're probably hitting 5 iron into this green.
I'm a bit worried now. I've walked past everything. And
And you're like, where is it?
I'm a little bit worried that I'm going to get down there and I'm going to hear a shout from about 200 yards where I say, Pete, you're back here.
I know what that's like.
Yeah.
Okay, shot number 3. At their debut Ryder Cup, this player halved his Sunday's singles match and shares a name with the only other European to do so that year.
What, to halve a match?
Listen. At their debut Ryder Cup, listen carefully, listen properly, in the beginning. At their debut Ryder Cup, this player halved his Sunday singles match and shares a name with the only other European to do so that year.
Oh no.
Did you fold yours again?
I've not folded it yet, but
That's a good question. that.
I'm folding again
I'm not.
because I don't know if the ages of these blokes work out, but I've got someone who works well with that. With a double name as the name of someone else. So I'm going to fold.
I didn't say it was their first name.
That would be very interesting if it was their second name.
Didn't say it was the second name.
That would be horrific if it's a middle name.
Said it was hard.
Surname, middle name, Horace. You didn't know that?
No, I've got it. I'll hold him on.
Okay, I'm going to...
I don't know if you heard that. If you heard that, that was Pete pressing his paper down with confidence.
Yeah, well...
Okay, so you should be up near the green. You're either chipping this onto the surface,
Yeah.
or you're putting from a long way away.
I'm so nervous.
Nervy chip.
Oh, no.
It's too late, mate.
Yeah.
It's too late. This is your full shot.
This player has won the Ryder Cup more than 3 times.
Again, I have no reason to write another name.
It should narrow someone. It should take someone out if you are down to a few names.
No, there's no reason for me to take anyone out. So
Oh, man. I'm not going to take one out. This is tricky, though. I've got a feeling that these next few questions might require me to hit a little quick recovery shot.
Same here.
Like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
we both be jumping back in a buggy to go back and
Yeah.
play some.
If you have both got it in one again, I won't. You two, right? If you have both got it in one again, for the rest of the holes, I will plan 10 questions. You two will be able to get 4 or 5 over par on a hole.
Wow.
Understand?
So I'm like playing off the forward tees plus my handicap.
What's going to happen to Kieran?
You're playing from the championship tees.
Yeah.
And then they've gone, oh, actually, there's a whole nother one back there, the Tiger tee.
You can't change the rules in the middle of the round.
We've not even got it right yet.
Just because you don't like how well I'm hitting it. Okay.
Yeah, it's annoying.
And like we say, I might be wrong.
Yeah, we don't know if we've got it yet.
I want you to fail.
By the way, has that been there the whole time?
It has.
Oh, right. Is it?
Well done on your resilience to
Yeah.
not eat it.
I didn't want to crunch it into my microphone. But
Well,
I
a bit of
imagine
it-
that there's lots of people in the comments like, that BN looks bloody good.
Right, a bit of ASMR.
That's the end.
Okay,
Nobody likes that. It's the
This-
worst.
No,
sound.
some people do.
this is your par. You should just be tapping this in, just tapping it.
Mm-hmm.
Here's why I knew the Phil Mickelson clue earlier. Phil Mickelson holds the Ryder Cup appearance record at 12. Today's player has appeared in 10 Ryder Cups. You're screwed.
10.
Phil Mickelson holds the Ryder Cup appearance record at 12. Listen to this bit. Today's player has appeared in 10.
Doesn't say he's played in 10. He's appeared in 10.
Yeah, I feel okay turning over now.
I don't know now. There's two people who it can be. I think I might have chosen the wrong one. But the difference for me between tapping in for a par and then potentially a bogey probably doesn't make a lot of difference now. So
And it's match play, so what do you care?
match play hole. I think I've got it wrong. Should I bottle it?
Go on, bottle it, I dare you.
I think I've got it wrong, but I'm just going to keep going. Because the victory lap will be even sweeter if I've got it right.
The worst you can get is double, isn't it? So
Yeah, exactly.
you just smooth your paper again.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my God. Speaking of ASMR, that's bloody annoying, that. Right, here we go. This is your 1 over. So if you get it here, you get 1 over. If you don't, I've got a long thing to read before you get your
Right.
double bogue.
And then should we get it on the double?
That we will
Oh,
just
yeah,
get it
just
automatically.
get
You
it.
get it automatically. Excuse me, we play this 5 times. Know the rules.
Sorry, man.
Understand?
Sorry.
This is the one. In 2004, this player was the non-playing captain of Team Europe at Oakland Hills in Michigan. The European team won by the same margin that the Americans won by in this player's first Ryder Cup at Walton Heath in 1981.
Can you repeat the whole shot, please?
In 2004, this player was the non-playing captain of Team Europe at Oakland Hills in Michigan, where the European team won by the same margin that the Americans won by in this player's first Ryder Cup at Walton Heath in 1981.
Again, I don't have any reason to write a name.
And the reason that it is relevant is because all 4 of us
Yeah, we were there.
went to Walton Heath and we looked at the Ryder Cup little stall they
There's a
have
lot of
there.
people on there, to be fair.
I just want to make sure I read this book correctly.
Yeah.
So when you say non-playing captain, you mean captain?
Some of the captains play.
No, they literally don't.
They used to.
So he's a vice captain.
So his first appearance was Walton Heath, 1986.
81.
81, sorry.
Which replaced the Belfry. As
It
we all
did.
know.
Because it wasn't ready.
These are the facts that we learned when we went to Walton
Yeah,
Heath.
so
it was a
again,
great trip.
I'm not gonna.
I'd rather just take the double and chance the hole in one.
I'm really wrong. I'm really wrong.
I think I know who it is,
But you don't know if you've got him or not.
but it's for me. It's either one or two people. I don't. I think I'm still yet to go up to the hole to check if my ball's in it. Basically,
Right, okay.
if not, I'm gonna have to go all the way back to the tee.
You could have
and play
got
out a
cart
double.
path, sprinkler, someone's head in the hole.
Yeah.
Damn.
I've got a hole in one or a double.
Yeah,
This
same.
is going to be.
That's not how the game is supposed to be played. Do you understand?
Yeah, but I'm happy with my answer.
You know what? I'm going to play the rest of this like that. It's all or nothing.
Well, this is why I'm maybe the back nine, you can go like 10 or 11 over for a
If
whole.
you said something in those last ones that made me think, I could change it, but every time it was like, okay, well, that could be them.
I think what it is as well, like those clues are basically, they're aimed at an era of player, and it could
It
be
didn't knock 'em
in
out,
that mix kind of thing. So anyway, right, double bogey.
If I've got,
Okay,
my,
so
if I've
everyone-
got my ages right here, then
Should we say who?
No,
we've
no,
got?
no.
Has everyone committed to their
Yeah.
final one before I read out?
I'm not going to react. I'm just going to wait.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let me just give you a piece of information that would have helped you on clue number 1.
Okay.
The player was awarded an OBE, but it was an honorary OBE. So they are not British.
Oh, well, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done then. That's sneaky.
Yeah,
That's very sneaky, actually.
yeah, I'm done.
Here we go. Wish I had some more dramatic music. I don't.
Well, Kieran, me, and Pete have both got doubles, so
Well,
At the
you've also got a double.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow, we've all doubled that.
At the 1991 Ryder Cup, in a career haunted by the yips, the tournament came down to a 5-foot putt. With Europe trailing 14-13 and our man 2 down against Hale Irwin with just 4 holes to play, the Americans had one hand on the trophy. Today's player needed to win his match for Europe to retain the cup. He won the 15th, halved the 16th, and levelled the match at the 17th. Sinking putts that would have tested even the most seasoned Ryder Cup legend, let alone man using a strange grip to solve his latest putting crisis. Wrapping his right hand around a left arm and a putter shaft that were linked together. I'll show you a picture of what it looked like. You can put it on.
I'll put it on. Yeah.
He managed to prolong the agony. The 1991 Ryder Cup would be decided on the final hole of the final match of the weekend, but the drama was just beginning. Our man hit the fairway with his tee shot on 18. What happened to Irwin's tee shot remains something of a mystery some 30 years later. He pulled it towards the dunes, 40 yards left of the fairway, where the Americans maintain it hit a spectator, took a giant bounce, and ended up in the second cut with a nice lie. Whatever. Irwin pushed his second shot and was unable to get up and down. Everyone knew a par would win the match and secure the Ryder Cup. Our player's first putt looked good but trickled on, leaving him a 6-footer for his par and a retention of the cup. With a significant spike mark on the line of the putt, our man attempted to roll the ball around the mark and die it in from the right-hand side. He missed, and the USA won, and that was that. Tears, anguish, pain, and the war on the shore was won by the Americans. The very next week, he won the German Masters and went on to secure Europe's record victory in the 2004 Ryder Cup. Captain Bernhard Langer.
You're right. The first clue has completely took us off the.
So for any of our American or potentially European audience listening, OBEs, MBEs are awarded by Her Majesty back then, or His Majesty now, and are bestowed on British citizens normally. So that is what threw us for a loop. I am not.
He's fuming about this, isn't he?
I am not entirely. The thing is, this is for me. What you've done there is you've just put a ditch running right down the middle of the fairway. or you've tried. You've tricked up the course there. That's all you've done.
Told you it's a hard
You've
one.
brought in wordplay.
No,
It's not wordplay at all. He was awarded an OBE in 2006. You assumed from that he was British, which was a bad mistake.
But the thing is, it wasn't an OBE. It was
was.
an honorary OBE.
It says OBE on it. He's got OBE next to his name.
Does it go HON?
I don't know. It just says OBE after his name.
All I'm saying
Bernard
is that,
Langer, OBE, the answer.
all I'm saying is that it was a tough hole.
It was very hard.
It was a really tough hole already. You didn't need to put the pin in the bunker.
Right, so
I didn't realise this was Greenkeeper's Revenge.
I'd love
week.
to know what everyone else
yeah,
got.
so
Yeah.
comment below how you did on that hole. I imagine that there will be a few people who saw past the kind of red herring OBE clue at the beginning and put together the 2004 captain and the scores and the names. Bernard Gallagher was the other one that year.
I would have got it if I'd have basically got the Bernard Gallagher because there's only other. That was the only other name I could think of.
Gallagher.
What did you have?
I had Sam Torrance to begin with.
Sam Torrance.
He went Santoris off the tee.
I had Ian Woosnam the whole time.
Off the tee,
And
who'd
I
you go-
didn't know if the ages worked for Ian Woosnam and Ian Poulter. That was my kind of like.
they were, I think they were a bit.
But the thing I think was like it could have just crossed over, but
Yeah. Who'd you have, Kieran?
I had Tony Jacklin, Colin Montgomery, then Paul Lawrie, then Ian Woosnam.
Wow.
so that all that area though, isn't it? It's that
Yeah,
generation.
it's all the same.
I thought I was good on Paul Lawrie. And then
So
I was like,
why did Seve not play in the 1981 Ryder Cup
at Walton Heath?
at Walton Heath? Why did he not play in it?
Did we know? Did we learn this, or have you?
You
found
should
that
know
out?
this.
Just loves the Belfry
I
too
don't.
much.
I don't know. I don't know.
He was in a dispute with the European Tour about getting appearance fees because he thought he was so good. Well, he was that they should be paying him to just turn up to the tournament even if he doesn't win.
Really?
So he was having an ongoing dispute with the European Tour saying that you should pay me to come to these tournaments because people come to see me.
God, it's all been about money, innit?
And I think Tony Jacklin just didn't get picked. So that's why they were both weren't there that year.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
Interesting.
You know what? That puts the. It doesn't actually change the scores at all.
No,
We're just
it
like
doesn't.
we're just
level.
Everyone's two more over than they were.
So disappointing. Kieran, I was holding out hope because we walked around Walton Heath and we talked about the Ryder Cup while we were there.
I remember the photo that we saw, and I remember Bernard Langer being there. But I don't know. I've never heard of
There's
Bernard.
also 12 other people.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's just-
and I've also never heard of Bernard. What is it? Gallagher.
Gallagher, yeah.
Never heard of him, so I would never have put two. And
Well, I'll tell you what, he was
two.
the only other person who halved his Sunday singles match that year.
It's very, very good, very good.
No, that was very good, even if it was a bit of a tricked up hole. And as it will be,
The wind changed just as he hit your tee shot.
as it will be at the end of the Ryder Cup, some of us are left with a bitter taste in our mouths. Hopefully, for the proud Europeans heading to Rome, it will be victory in the shadow of the Eternal City, and hopefully the Americans will be going home with the proverbial tails between their legs, even though there is a feeling, maybe at the back of my mind, that they might just sneak through and claim their first victory in Europe in 30 years. But hopefully not. We will be there on the ground reporting live from Rome. So we'll keep you up to date with everything that is going on and also do a review show after the Ryder Cup, probably from our hotel in Rome. So I just want to say a big thank you to my co-host for being here today. A huge thank you to everybody listening and to everybody watching. Enjoy the Ryder Cup. Go on, Europe.
Yeah.
Bye.